Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Starport. This is Jason here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas, right next to KTX 106, the radio station. And today's report is for March the 18th through March the 24th, 2026. And as usual, we jump right into the sun. And if you pay attention to the solar weather, like I've been telling you to do, then you know there are four solar events that are heading our way that are earthbound as we speak. None of them large or catastrophic, but when they combine in a row like that, sometimes aurora activity is increased. And so the auroras should be, um, if they're going to be, if they're coming, they're going to be visible over the weekend. So probably start looking Thursday evening, maybe even into Friday, Saturday, and see if you can see some auroras. The four events is there's a large coronal hole. And of course, energetically, coronal holes make us feel sort of compacted and increase earthquake activity. And then three M class solar flares are also inbound. And so M class is lower or smaller than X class. So you don't really need to have much concern about any of those uh, crashing the grid or any of that stuff like that. You might have slowdowns with some technology or whatever when they're all hitting at once, but it shouldn't knock anything out. And then, of course, solar flares cause aha moments. Dream life should be enhanced, whether that's visually or depth. What else did I write? Oh, yeah. And then also just the combination of stuff also in addition to that causes chronic illnesses to flare up. So like lupus and stuff like that, eczema. And then, excuse me, also cardiac fluctuations are possible when the sun is doing stuff. There is more than enough evidence to say that solar activity corresponds with heart uh, shifts in rhythm and electromagnetic charge. So pay attention to that if you've got issues with the heart, or if you're just sort of noticing that you're overwhelmed with energy and you feel like you're having an anxiety attack. Maybe it's just the solar flares. Uh, yeah. Zodiac we're currently in is Pisces for the almost the next couple of days. And of course, that's going to alchemically correspond to your feet, right? So that's the ending of the zodiac. And then we go right back up to the top. And that should be by Friday. We'll be in Aries. That's going to be the crown chakra or the higher mind. And so if you are sensitive to subtle energies, I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sensitive to subtle energies. You're probably already feeling the shift into the crown from the feet. And then sometimes when the energy sort of shifts that far in the body, you get a little bit of a tingle. I've had some tingling in my feet with that energy. I also pay attention to that. Retrogrades, we're currently in one for the next couple of days, and that is a Mercury retrograde. And of course, that is always communication and travel. And of course, a review of people in your life and relationships that you have, right? Who are you communicating with or relating to? And then, of course, who are you traveling with or traveling to? So it's those kinds of things. And, popular lore always talks about relationships coming back into the circle and stuff like that. Usually those are for you, not for synchronicity or kismet. So yeah, just pay attention to that during the last couple of days of retrograde, which leads us into today, Wednesday, the 18th. Over the next 24 to 36 hours, the new moon comes as the eclipse season post shadow ends with that new moon. What the heck? Oh, yeah. Were it not for the sun's intensity, I was like, I don't know what I wrote. Were it not for the sun's intensity, this would be a time to chill out and sort of reflect on the changes since early February that the solar eclipse had on you. And if you kind of go, what did it have on me? Usually those are associated or could be associated with timelines and karma. And so that would have been a realignment of timelines, right? If you're on a lower timeline, but your soul or your desires had plans for a higher timeline, and then those could have shifted. And then karma, right? So a lot of times, karma releasing, karma adjusting. Sometimes I guess if you're terrible person. Karma could adjust downward, like, here's your timeline down here for being so mean. But usually that's not the case, especially if you're watching the show. You're probably trying to better yourself or see what the heck's going on in the world and try to follow the light to the path that's leading you towards. Let's see what else is going on. Changed since February, times karma. Yeah. So you should feel pretty aligned to this feels good and normal, right? What's normal these days, but should be sort of feel like normal. Um, Nonetheless. Anyway, moving on to Thursday, the 19th of March. I was like, what's happening on the 19th of March? It's a 22 master day. And really the energy of this master day, since 22 is a higher than 11 master day, this is really about that new timeline you're on, that you should, in effect, rule your own timeline. Master your desires and dreams, right? So this is really sort of a chance for you to take charge of what's going on in your world on Thursday. And that sort of energy lasts for the next 6 months, right? So you might want to pay attention to it if it's going to be 6 months of shifts and movements and growth. In really over those next 6 months is just if you claim your mastery over or your rulership over your own timeline and your destiny, then all of a sudden you can manifest what you want because you're not waiting for outside forces or depending on things other than your own desires and actions and manifestations to manifest things, right? So manifestation over the next 6 months could increase on Thursday. Focus is always key. Leads us into Friday. I didn't underline Friday on my paper. Almost missed it. I was like, what's the next day? Friday, the 20th of March, equinox. Everybody loves spring equinox. Mercury also goes direct on Friday. So, woohoo, into Mercury retrograde. The things that should sort of be evident or clear, you should have clarity and balance are the energy of the day. And really that sort of clarity and balance comes as what happens since the solstice, right? So winter solstice, which Christmas time, in case you're wondering. So what's been going on and shifting since then, right? This is like, oh, here's what you asked for. Live it, buddy. And so that's cool stuff. I think that's the only thing I read on Sunday. Yeah. Well, I mean, or on Friday, excuse me. So yeah, Friday's a big deal. Everybody likes it when Mercury retrogrades over. There is always a post shadow, which I think I have written on Saturday. Yeah. So Saturday the 21st, post Mercury retrograde shadow begins. It should allow you to cool your jets, to calm down, right? So it shouldn't, although Monday maybe it's not so cool. Anyway, on Saturday, the 21st, post Mercury retrograde shadow begins. Should allow you to cool your jets. Post shadow until April the 9th, just after Easter this year. What this energy shift should really sort of do is sort of provide you motivation. I know a lot of you that visit the shop that are sort of like at that sort of like, oh, I don't even know why I'm doing this, or sort of that fatigue of effort. This should sort of re-inspire to sort of like, hey, things are working and actually happening. So that effort doesn't feel like it's going on a deaf ears or into a deep water, but rather that it's having an effect. So that'd be good. That's a good thing to happen on Saturday. Leads us into Sunday, the 22nd, 322, secret society energy. Anybody who knows. And so whenever it's that day, you might want to look for global news to sort of be in the headlines. So whatever is going on Sunday, global news, I guess I could tatter off into Monday, but probably on usually around weather is sort of how that goes. But pay attention to trusted news sites for what's going on or what they want you to think is going on the 22nd. We're also entering, I think Sunday 322. We're also entering 7 weeks of no major bodies in retrograde. And so that is actually a good thing because when there's when there's less breeze in your face, it's easier to go forward. So you want to think if there's less resistance to the action that you want to take. So action should become easier. Build what you've been planning. what you been planning? Starting on the 22nd. Uh, I hear you, universe. I'm going to do it. Leads us to Monday, the 23rd. And that's the energy of, I want to say not calm, but probably not calm. So Monday, the 23rd, Aries stellium. Stellium just means there's several bodies in that sign, which, ooh, is so stellar. And so it's a five planetary stellium. Saturn, Sun, Neptune, Chiron, and Venus. A bunch of fire energy for the year of the fire horse. What that's really going to mean is you should sort of look to that fire to reveal the symmetry that's been going on in your life. This is sort of synchronicity and aha moments. Like once it comes to light, you're like, oh, I've been walking this path I've been desiring the entire time, but I haven't seen it or felt my own worth, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of revelatory, not necessarily uh what's the word I want to use? Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. I don't just use the word bad. That's a nice simple word. Everybody knows the word bad. It's not bad. Um, yeah, so look for synchronicity and then just sort of spiritual fire too, right? With that sort of same thing with habits that we had with the retrograde, the Mercury retrograde, or just sort of life is not answering you fast. Um, Spiritual fire is what's the point because it's so dark and there's so many things that need to change, right? So this is sort of an overcoming that where your spiritual fire reignites that carrying your own divine light is actually effective for shifting your reality, the group reality, and all that fun stuff. You're part of a puzzle, man. You can do it. Blah 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 blah. Truths are illuminated under this kind of sky, right? So mostly that's going to be what's been true about you the entire time, right? And that's really the entire point of spiritual light is a revelation or a revealing or an uncovering what has been hidden or occulted, as you've always been divine light, and life has been spent revealing that or discovering that and realizing that what is light inside of you is greater than anything that sort of has happened to you or that you've done. Yeah, it's a fun Monday. Leads us into Tuesday, last day of this week's report, which is the 24th, it looks like, of March. With the stellium continuing, Saturn's going to have a lot of influence. And so Saturn's influence is really going to be the fire to create, rules, boundaries, right? And so the energy of the day is you might, when you set boundaries, like in all times, but when you have the power to set boundaries and you set them quickly, don't apologize for setting new boundaries if they make you better, right? So a lot of times, people that we're in connection, relation, or business with don't like boundaries, or we've spent time not honoring boundaries, and so resetting them is sometimes something to get angry about. So pay attention to that, but I don't say don't apologize, but sort of like, hey, uh, I'm sorry you don't like these boundaries, but I'm not sorry I have boundaries. Would be a good energy for Tuesday, especially in the workforce and interpersonal relationships. Right, everything's always so delicate. Such a delicate balance, and to be alive and be adulting. Yeah, I think that's everything. Should be at the shop all week. 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that'd be Wednesday through Saturday this week. Of course, if you'd like to come in and see me or boss rocks, you're welcome to come on in and newdimensionscrystals.com if you want to book a session. I think that's everything. I think that's everything. That's everything I wrote down. So I think that's everything I'm going to talk about. Until next time, everybody, as soon as I find this button, I'm going to say many blessings. Oh, they changed the buttons. I've got to wait till it says stop recording. Yes, stop recording. Many blessings.